What's up guys, it's me Lego Paradise here, and today I'm going to show you how to build this working Lego ATM machine. So first, let's take a look at how it works. To withdraw some money, you'll first need a credit card, and you can simply place this in the ATM machine, and you just insert the credit card into the ATM and release it to withdraw your Lego money. And if you want to withdraw some more money, you can just repeat this. And you see, you're presented with another 100 Lego note. And you can do this as many times as you want, because as you can see, it works perfectly and is reliable 100% of the time. Another great part about my Lego ATM machine design is that it's nice and compact, which means you can easily build it into your Lego buildings and structures. And you can see it's also scaled perfectly to be the right size for Lego minifigures. So let's take a look at the pieces you're going to need to build it. Okay, so we'll be building the ATM in two sections, and here are all the pieces you're going to need to build the first part. So once you have your pieces, you can start by taking two of your 2x4 bricks and just joining them together with a 1x4 brick on the side. Then next to that, you can take a 1x4 plate and attach it there. And you can top the middle section off with two 1x4 tiles. Then on the other side, you can take a 1x3 brick and place it just there and attach a small dial piece with the number pad on it, so you can enter your pin code just in the space there. And it should overhang a bit, and this is where you can place a 1x1 brick underneath. Next, you can take a 1x4 brick and just place that on the top. And you can take a 2x2 brick and place that just over there in the middle, or towards the middle. And then towards the back, this is where you can take your 1x1 bricks with this bar attachment. And it's really important you get these exact bricks because they'll be very important in a later step. And just attach them so they're both facing outwards with the bars. Just there and on opposite side. And then in this small space here, this is where you can place a 1x2 plate. And then just put either, you can use two 1x1 cheese wedge pieces, or just a 1x2 slope like I've used here. And this is what starts to create the small hopper system that you'll use to put the money in. But I'll show you how to reload the machine in a bit. So you can place this structure down for now. And next you can take a 1x4 plate and your last 1x1 brick and just attach that underneath, just like that, so it's nice and in line. And you can place this over the top of your two 1x1 bricks with the bars. So that should clip there, and you have to make sure you've attached it properly so it doesn't fall off. But once you have it on nice and securely, it should not be a problem. And you can make sure you have a 1 plate wide gap on that side. And then you can just spin this round. And next you can take two of your 1x1 bricks with the stud on the side and just place that on top in the middle. And this is where you can attach the screen to display your bank account and your credit card information. And you can just place a normal 2x2 Lego computer screen tile, because this works perfectly as an ATM machine screen, since they're pretty much the same thing. And then you can take two 1x1 plates and just place them on either side of the screen and smooth that section off with a 1x1 tile. And then here you can take a 2x2 corner plate and just attach that there, and that should make this whole section a little bit more stronger, and fill in the gap with another 1x2 plate. And you can continue to build this up with a 1x3 plate that just goes in the 1x3 area here, 1x4 plate next to it, and you can put a 1x2 plate in this area here. And then finally we can smooth the rest of the top off using a 1x4 plate to just secure those pieces in place, a 2x2 tile, and that just goes in the center there, and finally a 1x1 tile in the corner there. And now we have the first section of your working Lego ATM. Okay, so here's what you're going to need to build the second and final part of your working Lego ATM machine. And in case you can't tell what some of these pieces are, this is a roughly 2x2 newer style Lego Technic rubber band piece, and it's essential that you use this exact rubber band. This here is a custom printed Lego credit card tile from a website called minifigs.me, but I'll leave a link to that in the description below if you want to check that out and order one yourself. But really, any normal unprinted 1x2 tile will work just as well. This is purely just for looks. And then these 4 tiles at the back here are actually some Lego letter tiles, and they're official pieces from a Lego business card holder set. And again, I'll leave a link to the set that they're in the description below. Okay, so once you have your pieces, you can take a 1x6 plate and a 2x2 tile and just attach that there. And then you can take a 1x1 tile and place that underneath the 2x2. Then you can take a 1x1 brick and place that on the end, just there. And this is where you can use a 1x1 round tile. And it's quite important you use a 1x1 round tile because this will just allow this tray mechanism to move a little bit more smoothly. And I'll show you what I mean once we assemble all the pieces together. But anyway, you can place this aside for now, because next we'll build the roof section. And this is quite simple. Just take a 4x4 plate with the studs on only one side, and a 1x4 brick with studs on one side. And you just place that on top in the area there. And here's where you can decorate your ATM machine and let your minifigures know that this is in fact an ATM machine. So here you can see I've used these letter tiles to spell out the word cash, but there's many ways you can decorate this, and this of course is not essential to the design or the mechanism. You could also consider decorating it with a sort of money tile, and that will also work effectively in letting people know it's an ATM machine. But to complete the top section, you will just need a 1x1 brick or 1x2 brick and place that on the side just there. Okay, so now you can take the first part of your Lego ATM machine and the small tray which dispenses the money, and to insert this into the ATM machine, you just place it in the 1x2 and 1x1 plate hole in the back, and that should slide in nice and easily. And then just check that it moves nice and freely, because this is quite important to the design, but that shouldn't be too much of a problem, and you can just separate out the bricks a bit if it doesn't move that smoothly. But once you have that placed, you can now put your rubber band on these 2 bar pieces. And this attaches quite simply. Just take this and place it in the middle. And then you can test this out by just pushing this back, and this should spring back into place. So you can see this here is where you could load in your money. And it's quite simple to place your money in. You can just take the money and place it on this 1x2 slope, or 2 1x1 slopes if you've used 2 1x1s. And just take that and just slide it in and push it in there, and make sure it's all nice and level. And you'll see that should look quite nice and fit in quite well. So you can cover that up with your roof of your ATM, and you can see that the reason this 1x2 brick is here is just to close this gap off. And you can just clip that down, and that should fit nicely. And then all that's left to do is to test it. And of course you'll need a credit card or just a normal 1x2 tile, and you can place that in this area here next to the keypad, and then you can test it out by just inserting it all the way right to the back so it's nice and straight, and then it should push out a money note. And there you go, you have your working Lego ATM machine. And then you can see that it should work every time, and you just have to push it back all the way right to the back so the credit card is fully inserted into the machine. And you can see that it works with this hopper system because it basically moves this plate, this tile backwards, and you can see the money will drop down and then it just gets pushed back out. And to reload it, you can simply just remove the roof and place in your money tiles again. just like this. So now you have your working Lego ATM machine. And if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to give the video a like, comment and subscribe for more. And I've also done a video on how to build a working Lego vending machine, so I'll leave a link to that in the description below if you want to check that out. So I'll be back next time with some more Lego creations and how to build tutorials. Thanks for watching.